The False Arrest by Jessica Lamb. My name is Mickey. Recently something happened to me. I was on a grocery run on a regular day with my kids in the back of the car, going to get some groceries. Of course, they were rambunctious kids in the back of the car. And I noticed a police officer pulling me over. Now, I was going 35 miles an hour, which was the speed limit, so I had no idea why he was pulling me over. He stopped me. I told my kids to calm down because there was a police officer coming to the car. Got them calm. He came over to the window and asked for my license, which I gave him. He looked up and down my car, which was a nice SUV type of van. I kept it clean, and he took my license to his car and ran a check on me, spoke in his walkie-talkie. He seemed nervous when I looked at him through the mirror, which I couldn't understand why. I was just hoping that everything was all right. I didn't understand why he had pulled me over. I kept thinking of all the things that it could be, but I couldn't think of anything. He came back around, and the officer asked me to step out of the vehicle. I'm like, I got two kids in the back of the car. This is going to be awkward. Okay, I stepped out of the vehicle, and he put my hands on the car and frisked me. And I was telling him, I'm deaf, I need an interpreter, but he didn't seem to understand that. And I had my two kids in the car. He cuffed me. And I'm trying to sign with my hands cuffed that I'm deaf and I need an interpreter, but he just would not understand. I asked if I could call my husband, which I did, to come pick up the kids and take them over to some place where they could be taken care of. They couldn't join me in the back of the cop car on the way to the station. Oh, I was so worried about that. So I sat in the back of the cop car and waited for my husband to come and get the kids and take them over to a friend's house. I got to the station and I explained to him, still handcuffed, that I'm deaf. I need an interpreter, which he still didn't seem to understand. Got to the station, finally got uncuffed, and at that point, I didn't understand why I was pulled over. I think I'm innocent. I couldn't think of anything I didn't have any weapons or anything on me. They had me read paperwork at the station and asked me to sign it, and I didn't understand what was going on. I wouldn't sign it. I said, no, I'm not going to sign this. I need an interpreter first. They wouldn't provide an interpreter, so I wouldn't provide a signature. Finally, a lady came and asked me what was going on, and I explained that I needed an interpreter. So she walked away and hopefully was trying to get that. They came and asked for a license, and they could see that my record was clean. I hadn't had any tickets. I hadn't had any arrests, no DUIs, nothing. And at that time, I was not willing to just write out a long, drawn-out conversation on paper. That would be a gigantic waste of time. The police officers looked over everything. I ended up waiting in that office for 4 or 5 hours, just doing nothing. No interpreter, no help, nothing. Finally, I decided to write down the names of the officers that had arrested me and brought me to the station so that later I could sue or file a complaint against them for everything that they did against me that wasn't appropriate. Finally, my husband arrived, and I said, help me out. I don't know what's going on. So he did. He told me not to worry, and he went and asked them what's going on. Finally, he found out that there was a warrant out for an arrest for another lady with the same vehicle and the same name as me. Can you imagine? Now, there is a reason why pictures are put on driver's license. They couldn't see that my face was different than hers. At this point, I would like to file a complaint and give it to their boss for those officers who had arrested me and didn't provide an interpreter, and for all the inappropriate things that they did to me. And after we got home, My husband and I decided to look through the phone book and see if we couldn't find a legal assistant or somebody who could help us out with this complaint. And we found a deaf service agency that had a legal assistant. And you betcha we're going to place a call.